Leviticus 9. Now it happened on the 8th day that Moses called Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel. And he said to Aaron, Take for yourself a calf, a bull, for a sin offering, and a ram for a burnt offering, both without blemish, and bring them near before Yahweh. Then to the sons of Israel you shall speak, saying, Take a male goat for a sin offering, and a calf and a lamb, both 1 year old, without blemish, for a burnt offering, and an ox and a ram for peace offerings, to sacrifice before Yahweh, and a grain offering mixed with oil, for today Yahweh will appear to you. So they took what Moses had commanded to the front of the tent of meeting, and the whole congregation came near and stood before Yahweh. And Moses said, This is the thing which Yahweh has commanded you to do, that the glory of Yahweh may appear to you. Moses then said to Aaron, Come near to the altar and offer your sin offering and your burnt offering, that you may make atonement for yourself and for the people. Then offer the offering for the people, that you may make atonement for them, just as Yahweh has commanded. So Aaron came near to the altar and slaughtered the calf of the sin offering which was for himself. Then Aaron's sons brought the blood near to him, and he dipped his finger in the blood, and put some on the horns of the altar, and poured out the rest of the blood at the base of the altar. The fat and the kidneys and the lobe of the liver of the sin offering he then offered up in smoke on the altar, just as Yahweh had commanded Moses. The flesh and the skin, however, he burned with fire outside the camp. Then he slaughtered the burnt offering, and Aaron's sons handed the blood to him, and he splashed it around on the altar. And they handed the burnt offering to him in pieces, with the head, and he offered them up in smoke on the altar. He also washed the entrails and the legs, and offered them up in smoke with the burnt offering on the altar. Then he brought near the people's offering, and took the goat of the sin offering which was for the people, and slaughtered it, and offered it for sin, like the first. He also brought near the burnt offering, and offered it according to the legal judgment. Next he brought near the grain offering, and filled his hand with some of it, and offered it up in smoke on the altar, besides the burnt offering of the morning. Then he slaughtered the ox and the ram, the sacrifice of peace offerings which was for the people. And Aaron's sons handed the blood to him, and he splashed it around on the altar. As for the portions of fat from the ox and from the ram, the fat tail and the fat covering and the kidneys and the lobe of the liver, they now placed the portions of fat on the breasts, and he offered them up in smoke on the altar. But the breast and the right thigh Aaron waved as a wave offering before Yahweh, just as Moses had commanded. Then Aaron lifted up his hands toward the people and blessed them. And he stepped down after offering the sin offering and the burnt offering and the peace offerings. And Moses and Aaron went into the tent of meeting. Then they came out and blessed the people, and the glory of Yahweh appeared to all the people. Then fire came out from before Yahweh and consumed the burnt offering and the portions of fat on the altar. And all the people saw it, and shouted, and fell on their faces. Psalm 10. Lamed. Why do you stand afar off, O Yahweh? Why do you hide yourself in times of distress? In his lofty pride the wicked hotly pursues the afflicted. Let them be caught in the thoughts which they have devised. For the wicked boasts of his soul's desire, and the greedy man curses and spurns Yahweh. The wicked, in the haughtiness of his countenance, does not seek him. All his thoughts are, There is no God. His ways prosper at all times. Your judgments are on high, out of his sight. As for all his adversaries, he snorts at them. He says in his heart, I will not be shaken. From generation to generation I will not be in adversity. Pay. His mouth is full of curses and deceit and oppression. Under his tongue is mischief and wickedness. Ayin. He sits in the places of the villages where one lies in wait. In the hiding places he kills the innocent. His eyes stealthily watch for the unfortunate. He lies in wait in a hiding place as a lion in his lair. He lies in wait to catch the afflicted. He catches the afflicted when he draws him into his net. He crouches, he bows down, and the unfortunate fall by his mighty ones. He says in his heart, God has forgotten. He has hidden his face. He will never see it. Kof. Arise, O Yahweh. O God, lift up your hand. Do not forget the afflicted. Why is the wicked spurned God? He has said in his heart, You will not require it. Resh. You have seen it, for you have beheld mischief and vexation to take it into your hand. The unfortunate commits himself to you. You have been the helper of the orphan. Shin. Break the arm of the wicked and the evildoer. Seek out his wickedness until you find none. Yahweh is king forever and ever. Nations have perished from his land. Tav. O Yahweh, you have heard the desire of the humble. You will strengthen their heart. You will cause your ear to give heed, to give justice to the orphan and the oppressed, so that man who is of the earth will no longer cause terror. Proverbs 24. Do not be jealous of evil men, and do not desire to be with them, for their heart meditates on destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. By wisdom a house is built, and by discernment it is firmly established, and by knowledge the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is strong, and a man of knowledge strengthens his power. For by guidance you will make war, and in an abundance of counselors there is salvation. Wisdom is too exalted for an ignorant fool. He does not open his mouth in the gate. One who deliberately thinks to do evil, men will call a schemer. The scheming of folly is sin, and the scoffer is an abomination to men. If you are slack in the day of trouble, your strength is in trouble. Deliver those who are being taken away to death, and those who are stumbling to the slaughter. Oh, hold them back. If you say, Behold, we did not know this, does not he who weighs the hearts understand? And does not he who guards your soul know? And will not he render to man according to his work? Eat honey, my son, for it is good. Indeed, the honey from the comb is sweet to your taste. Know that wisdom is thus for your soul. If you find it, then there will be a future, and your hope will not be cut off. Do not lie in wait, O wicked man, against the abode of the righteous. Do not destroy his resting place. For a righteous man falls 7 times and rises again, but the wicked will stumble in calamity. When your enemy falls, do not be glad, and when he stumbles, do not let your heart rejoice, lest Yahweh see it and it be evil in his eyes, and turn his anger away from him. Do not fret because of evildoers. Do not be jealous of the wicked, for there will be no future for the evil one. The lamp of the wicked will go out. My son, fear Yahweh and the king. Do not associate with those who change, for suddenly their disaster will rise, and who knows the upheaval that comes from both of them? These also are sayings of the wise. To show partiality in judgment is not good. He who says to the wicked, You are righteous, peoples will curse him, nations will be indignant with him. But to those who reprove the wicked it will be pleasant, and a good blessing will come upon them. He kisses the lips, who responds with right words. Establish your work outside, and make it ready for yourself in the field, and afterwards you shall build your house. Do not be a witness against your neighbor without cause, nor deceive with your lips. Do not say, As he did to me, so I shall do to him. I will render to the man according to his work. I passed by the field of the sluggard, and by the vineyard of the man lacking a heart of wisdom. And behold, it was completely overgrown with thistles. Nettles have covered its surface, and its stone wall has been torn down. And I beheld, I set my heart upon it. I saw, I received discipline. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. Then your poverty will come as a robber, and your want like an armed man. 1 Thessalonians 3. Therefore, when we could endure it no longer, we were pleased to be left behind at Athens alone. And we sent Timothy, our brother and God's fellow worker in the gospel of Christ, to strengthen and encourage you as to your faith, so that no one would be shaken by these afflictions. For you yourselves know that we have been destined for this. For indeed, when we were with you, we kept telling you in advance that we were going to suffer affliction, just as it happened and as you know. For this reason, when I could endure it no longer, I also sent to know about your faith, lest somehow the tempter has tempted you, and our labor be in vain. But now that Timothy has come to us from you, and has brought us good news of your faith and love, and that you always remember us kindly, longing to see us just as we also long to see you. For this reason, brothers, in all our distress and affliction, we were comforted about you through your faith. For now we really live, if you stand firm in the Lord. For what thanks can we render to God for you in return for all the joy with which we rejoice before our God because of you, as we night and day keep praying most earnestly that we may see your face, and may complete what is lacking in your faith? Now may our God and Father himself, and Jesus our Lord, direct our way to you. And may the Lord cause you to increase and abound in love for one another, and for all people, just as we also do for you, so that he may strengthen your hearts, blameless in holiness, before our God and Father, at the coming of our Lord Jesus with all his saints.